When I was growing up, my parents always taught me the Great Commission. It wasn't a suggestion, but that was part of being obedient to God when you became a believer. And my grandfather was career military, and so he would always remind me that because God has given you much, much is required out of your life. Just being raised in this mentality of we have to help others. Like, that's not a choice. If you love God, then you love the way God loves. Savannah kind of became a hub of refugees fleeing from the Middle East. And we had an opportunity to start working with refugees. I was just really uncomfortable. I think I had a view what most Americans would have of Islam and Muslims, and just kind of seeing them from a distance and hearing what you see on the news, and that just affects your outlook. You know, the Muslim ladies would come in their hijabs, and you know, you would hear them speaking in their languages of Pashto and Dari, and I had a fear, and then also, but then being in America, I was like, well, nothing's gonna happen to me here. So it was more of a dislike is what that turned into, of just, I don't wanna be around them. Like, you stay in your lane and I'll stay in mine, and let's not cross paths. So one Christmas, we were having a Christmas party, and I actually had a conflict and I couldn't go. And I was so relieved. I'm like, oh, I don't have to make something up. And so I came home and I was telling my mom, I was sitting at the kitchen counter, and I was like, I'm so glad. She's like, why? She was like, Brittany, the Lord has brought the nations to us. And they're coming from the Middle East in these war-torn countries. They have not heard the name of God. And you have an opportunity to do that. And so she said, I am going to start praying that God breaks your heart for what breaks his. So fast forward 6 months, my roommate gets transferred to Thailand. I have 2 weeks to find someone to rent out my spare bedroom. Heather Flood calls me one day. She's like, I got this girl. Her husband's in the military. She wants to live with another single girl while he's deployed. And I was like, oh, sounds great. Well, she's from Afghanistan and she's a Muslim. God had shut every other door for a roommate. So Ilhama moves in, and it just started this great friendship. We would have these conversations just sitting on the couch in our pajamas, talking about each other's religions. When you get to know someone and you can put a face to just the term Muslim, and you hear their story, it really made a difference. They're people, and they're just like us, and they may serve another God, but maybe because they haven't seen the truth yet. God definitely broke my heart. And while he did that, it was also in preparation to serve with Muslims. I was so drawn to them, and I wanted to share the love of Jesus with them. I took a year, I started praying and just seeking out opportunities. Like, I said, God, I'll go anywhere in the world. Like, where do you want me to go? Missionaries just kind of started reaching out to me, and I felt like God was like, hey, I'm putting these in your path on purpose. They told me about a team in the Philippines that had just started serving with Muslims. So I got an email from the team leader, Edwin, and he said, we've been praying for 3 people to join us, someone with their MBA, a scuba diver, and someone with medical experience. He said, I thought I was praying for 3 people, but you are all of that in one little missionary package. So now I can look back at my life and realize my undergrad was in sports medicine. I went to grad school and I got my MBA. Grew up in a family that held missions in such high regard that instilled in me the importance of the Great Commission. And then I have this hobby of scuba diving or anything on the water. That certification is gonna open the doors, like not only in the Philippines, but all across Asia to Muslim areas that are closed to Christians. But we can go in under the guise of dive instructing and just build relationships and eventually, be able to share Jesus with people that have never heard before. To get to use my hobby and use that to share Jesus with the people group that I cared most about, that God literally had broken my heart for, just to me seemed like a dream come true. Everything in my life just seemed to be aligning and pointing to going to the Philippines. God is like, for such a time as this, it's for the Philippines. I did all of this stuff in the 35 years of your life to prepare you to go to Manila and serve with Edwin and Amy. You'll never know what adventure God calls you on. But if you're willing and you're open, and you step out in faith, then God will say, hey, I've got the greatest journey for you if you would just follow me.